For 8 years, I paid for everything. Their mortgage, their car payments, their country club membership, their children's private school. $8,000 every single month from my account to theirs. And last week, my daughter looked me in the eye and said, "Mom, we don't need your help anymore. We're doing just fine on our own." I smiled. I said, "Congratulations." And the next morning, I canceled every single payment. What happened 48 hours later? Let's just say they weren't doing as fine as they thought. Before the story begins, subscribe and tell me where you're watching from. My name is Patricia Morgan. I'm 63 years old, and I built an empire from absolutely nothing. When I say nothing, I mean it. I grew up in a trailer park outside Bakersfield, California. My father was gone before I could walk. My mother worked 3 jobs and still couldn't keep the lights on half the time. I wore clothes from donation bins. I ate lunch at school because it was the only meal I could count on. And I swore that if I ever had children, they would never know what it felt like to be hungry, to be ashamed, to be poor. I got pregnant at 19. His name was Robert. We were in love, or at least I thought we were. He was charming, ambitious, full of promises about the life we'd build together. We got married at City Hall. I wore a white dress from Goodwill. He wore his only cint. I had my daughter 6 months later. We named her Victoria. Victoria Ann Morgan. She was perfect. 10 tiny fingers, 10 tiny toes, and eyes that looked at me like I was her whole world. For a while, Robert tried. He really did. He worked construction, came home exhausted and covered in dust. But the money was never enough. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment that smelled like mold. The neighbors fought through the walls. Victoria slept in a crib we found on the side of the road. When Victoria was 2, Robert sat me down. "I can't do this," he said. "Can't do what?" "This, the struggling, the poverty. I didn't sign up for this. We have a daughter." "I know, and I'm sorry, but I can't breathe here, Patty. I feel like I'm drowning." He left the next morning, took his clothes, his tools, and the $300 we had saved for rent. I never saw him again. So it was just us, me and Victoria, and I was terrified. I was 21 years old, with a 2-year-old daughter, no degree, no skills, and no money. But I had something else, something my mother gave me, even though she had nothing else to give. I had stubbornness, pure, burning, relentless stubbornness. I got a job at a real estate office as a receptionist, $8 an hour. I answered phones, filed papers, made coffee. But I watched. I listened. I learned. The agents would come in bragging about their commissions, $5,000 on this deal, $10,000 on that one. And I thought, I could do that. I'm smarter than half these people. So I studied for my real estate license at night after Victoria went to bed. Failed the test twice, passed on the 3rd try. I started selling houses when Victoria was 4. Those first years were brutal. Real estate is feast or famine, and I was starving. Some months I made $500. Some months I made nothing. But I kept going, kept working, kept pushing. I'd take Victoria with me to open houses. She'd sit in the corner with her coloring books while I showed properties. She was so good, so patient. She never complained. "Mommy has to work so we can have a better life," I'd tell her. "I know, Mommy," she'd say. "I'm helping by being good." She was helping. God, she was helping more than she knew. By the time Victoria was 8, I was making real money. Not rich, but comfortable. We moved out of our apartment into a small house. Victoria got her own room. We had a yard. I bought her new clothes, new toys, things I'd never had as a child. "Mom, is this really ours?" she asked the day we moved in. "It's really ours, baby. No one can take it away." I kept climbing, kept working 70, 80-hour weeks, kept missing school plays and soccer games because I was closing deals. But every sacrifice meant Victoria had more. A better school, dance lessons, summer camps. "I'm doing this for you," I'd tell her when she complained that I missed another recital. "I know, Mom," she'd say, but her eyes were sad. By the time Victoria was in high school, I was one of the top producing agents in the Bay Area. I'd shifted into commercial real estate, bigger deals, bigger commissions. I was making $400,000 a year. We moved to Palo Alto, a beautiful 4-bedroom house with a pool. Victoria went to a private school where the other kids' parents were tech executives and venture capitalists. "You belong here," I told her. "You deserve this." And she did. She was brilliant, straight A's, captain of the debate team, accepted to Berkeley with a partial scholarship. I paid the rest. All of it. Tuition, housing, spending money. I wanted her to focus on school, not worry about money like I had. "Mom, you don't have to do this," she said when I handed her a credit card for emergencies. "Yes, I do. This is what mothers do. They give their children better." She hugged me. "Thank you. I won't let you down." And she didn't. She graduated summa cum laude, got into Stanford Law School. I was so proud I cried at her graduation. "I'm going to be a lawyer, Mom," she said. "I'm going to make you proud." "You already do, baby, every single day." Law school was expensive, even more expensive than undergrad, but I paid it. Every tuition bill, every book, every bar prep course. By then, I was making close to $1 million a year. I'd opened my own firm, Morgan Real Estate Group. 20 agents working under me. I was a success story, the poor girl from the trailer park who made it. But I was also alone. ... I'd never remarried, never even seriously dated. My whole life was work and Victoria. And Victoria was busy. Law school consumed her. I saw her maybe 3-4 times a year. "I miss you," I'd say on our brief phone calls. "I miss you too, Mom. But this is so intense. I barely have time to sleep." "I know, baby. I'm proud of you. Keep going." She graduated law school 3rd in her class, got recruited by a prestigious firm in San Francisco, starting salary $190,000. I took her out to celebrate. Expensive restaurant, champagne. "You did it," I said, raising my glass. "You're going to be an incredible lawyer. I couldn't have done it without you, Mom. Seriously, you paid for everything. You believed in me. I'm going to pay you back. Every penny. I promise." "I don't want you to pay me back," I said. "Seeing you succeed is payment enough." She teared up. "I love you, Mom." "I love you too, baby. So much." That was the last really good moment we had. 6 months later, she met him. His name was Brandon Whitmore. He worked at her firm, associate attorney, same level as Victoria. Tall, handsome, charming. From money, old Connecticut money. His father owned a pharmaceutical company. His mother sat on charity boards. Victoria called me breathless with excitement. "Mom, I met someone. He's incredible, smart, funny, ambitious. I really think this could be something." "That's wonderful, honey. When can I meet him?" "Soon. We're still new, but soon." 4 months later, they were engaged. "Mom, we're getting married." Victoria's voice on the phone was pure joy. "Married? Already? I know it's fast, but when you know, you know. He's the one, Mom. I've never been so sure of anything." "I'm happy for you, sweetheart, really." And I was. I wanted her to be happy, to have love, to have the family I'd never been able to give her. The wedding was planned for 6 months later. Napa Valley. 300 guests. Victoria sent me pictures of the venue. A stunning estate with vineyards and mountain views. Victoria called me, breathless with excitement. "Mom, I met someone. He's incredible, smart, funny, ambitious. I really think this could be something." "That's wonderful, honey. When can I meet him?" "Soon. We're still new, but soon." 4 months later, they were engaged. "Mom, we're getting married." Victoria's voice on the phone was pure joy. "Married? Already?" "I know it's fast, but when you know, you know. He's the one, Mom. I've never been so sure of anything." "I'm happy for you, sweetheart." Really. And I was. I wanted her to be happy, to have love, to have the family I'd never been able to give her. "Brandon's parents are helping with some of the costs," she said, "but I wanted to talk to you about contributing too." "Of course. How much do you need?" "Well, the total is around $150,000. Brandon's parents are covering half. Could you cover the other half?" $75,000, more than most people make in a year. "Absolutely," I said without hesitation. "This is your special day. I want it to be perfect." "Thank you, Mom. You're the best." I wrote the check, wired the money, felt proud to be able to give my daughter the wedding of her dreams. The wedding was beautiful. Victoria looked like a princess in her designer gown. Brandon looked handsome in his custom tux. I sat in the front row, crying happy tears. But I also felt separate. Brandon's family filled half the church. His side of the aisle was packed with relatives, friends, important people. My side was sparse. A few friends from work. My sister, who I barely spoke to. At the reception, I sat at a table with people I didn't know. Brandon's family dominated the room. His father gave a long, eloquent toast about legacy and family and tradition. When it was my turn, I stood up, nervous. "Victoria," I said, "you are my greatest accomplishment. Everything I've done for you. You've made me prouder than you'll ever know. I love you so much." It was short, simple, from the heart. But when I sat down, I saw Brandon's mother whisper something to his father. They both looked at me and smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. After the wedding, Victoria and Brandon moved into a beautiful townhouse in Pacific Heights. Brandon's parents bought it for them as a wedding gift. "It's 4 bedrooms, Mom," Victoria told me excitedly. "You'll have to come stay." "I'd love that, honey." But months passed. The invitation never came. I saw them occasionally. Brief lunches where Victoria seemed distracted, always checking her phone, always rushing off to meetings. "Work is crazy," she'd say. "Brandon and I are both grinding." "I understand, sweetie. But don't forget to take care of yourself." I won't, Mom. Love you." Then, a year after the wedding, Victoria called with news. "Mom, I'm pregnant." My heart soared. "Oh, Victoria, that's wonderful. I'm going to be a grandmother." "I know. We're so excited. Brandon's parents are already planning the nursery. His mom has all these ideas." "I'd love to help too," I interjected. "Maybe we could go shopping together, for baby things." "Oh, yeah, maybe. His mom has kind of taken charge, but yeah, we can do something." We never did. Over the next months, I heard less and less from Victoria. When I called, she was always busy, always tired, always with Brandon's family. "Oh, just very involved, Mom," she explained when I finally asked. "His mom comes over every day. She's helping with everything." "That's nice," I said, trying to keep the hurt out of my voice. "I'd love to help too, though." "I know. It's just, they're here. They're local, and they have so much experience." Local. I lived 40 minutes away. The baby was born in December. a boy. They named him Harrison Whitmore. Whitmore, not Morgan, not even a hyphenated name. Brandon's family name is important, Victoria explained. It's tradition. I met Harrison when he was 2 weeks old. Brandon's mother was there, holding him, showing me how to support his head, like I'd never held a baby before. He's beautiful, I said, reaching for him. Be careful, Brandon's mother warned. He's very delicate. I'd raised Victoria alone. I knew how to hold a baby. But I just smiled and took my grandson carefully in my arms. He was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Congratulations, Victoria. Brandon. He's wonderful. Thanks, Mom. Victoria looked exhausted. Brandon's mom has been staying with us, helping out. I don't know what I'd do without her. I stayed for an hour. Then Brandon's mother suggested I should leave so Victoria could rest. I drove home and cried. A month later, Victoria called. Mom, I need to talk to you about something. What is it, honey? Brandon and I are struggling financially. The mortgage on the townhouse is $6,000 a month, plus the car payments, insurance, the nanny we just hired. And I'm taking maternity leave, so we're down to one income. I see. I was wondering, could you help? Just temporarily, until I go back to work. Help, money. That's what she needed. Not me. Not my company. Not my advice or my experience. My money. How much do you need? I asked. Maybe $8,000 a month. Just to cover the gap? $8,000 a month. For how long? Just a few months, 6 at most. Once I'm back at work, we'll be fine. I should have said no. Should have told her this was too much, that they needed to budget, to adjust, to live within their means. But I didn't, because she was my daughter, and I'd spent my whole life giving her everything. Okay, I said, I'll help. Really, Mom? Thank you so much. You're saving us. I set up automatic transfers, $8,000 every month from my account to theirs. 6 months passed. Victoria went back to work. The transfers continued. A year passed. The transfers continued. Victoria, I finally asked, when are you going back to covering your own expenses? Oh, soon, Mom. It's just, things are still tight. Brandon's student loans are killing us, and Harrison's preschool is $2,000 a month. Can you just keep helping a little longer? A little longer. 2 years became 3. 3 became 5. $8,000. Every single month. For 5 years. That's $480,000. Nearly $500,000. And in those 5 years, I saw Victoria maybe 10 times. Harrison barely knew who I was. Grandma Pat is here, Victoria would say, and Harrison would look at me like I was a stranger. Because I was a stranger. I was the woman who paid for his life but wasn't part of it. We're just so busy, Mom, Victoria would say when I asked to visit more. Brandon's family is here all the time, and it's a lot of people already. Brandon's family, his parents, his sister, his cousins. They were all over Victoria's social media. Photos of family dinners, holiday celebrations, day trips. I wasn't in any of them. But I kept paying. $8,000 every month, like clockwork. I told myself it was temporary, that I was helping, that this was what mothers did. But deep down, I felt used. Then 3 months ago, Victoria had another baby, a girl. They named her Penelope. I found out on Instagram. Not from a call, not from a text, from a photo Victoria posted of Brandon holding a newborn in a hospital room. Welcome to the world, Penelope Grace Whitmore. We love you so much. I stared at that photo for 20 minutes. She hadn't told me, hadn't invited me, hadn't thought I was important enough to know my granddaughter was being born. I called her. Voicemail. I texted. No response. 2 days later, she finally called back. Mom, hey, sorry I've been MIA. Things have been crazy. Victoria, you had the baby. I know, isn't she beautiful? Why didn't you tell me? Silence. Victoria came down 30 minutes later, holding Penelope. Mom, come meet your granddaughter. I stood, looked at this tiny, perfect baby, and felt nothing. It happened really fast. I went into labor early. Brandon's parents were here, and it was just chaotic. I'm sorry. I would have come, Victoria. I would have dropped everything. I know, Mom, but you're always working. And Brandon's mom was already here helping with Harrison. It made more sense. Made more sense. I swallowed my hurt. Can I come meet her? Yeah. Maybe next week? Let me check with Brandon. Check with Brandon. Next week came. I drove to their house. Brandon's mother opened the door. Patricia, she said coolly. Victoria's feeding the baby. You can wait in the living room. I sat on their expensive couch, the one I'd indirectly paid for, and waited. Not nothing. That's not true. I felt love, but I also felt distant, like I was looking at someone else's grandchild. She's beautiful, I said, isn't she? Brandon's mother came up beside us. She has Brandon's eyes and his chin. Definitely a Whitmore. A Whitmore, not a Morgan. I held Penelope for maybe 5 minutes before Brandon's mother said, we shouldn't overstimulate her. She needs her routine. I handed the baby back. I stayed for maybe 30 minutes. Then I left. No one asked me to stay for dinner. No one suggested I come back soon. I was a visitor in my daughter's life. A stranger who sent money every month. Last week, I'd had enough. I called Victoria. Can you come over for dinner? Just the two of us. We need to talk. She sighed. Mom, I'm so swamped. Can it wait? No, it can't. Please, Victoria. Fine. Tomorrow night, but I can only stay an hour. She showed up 45 minutes late, didn't apologize. I'd made her favorite meal, spent all afternoon cooking. She barely touched it. So what did you want to talk about? She asked, checking her phone. I took a deep breath. Victoria, I've been supporting you financially for 5 years. She looked up. And I think it's time you and Brandon started covering your own expenses. Her face changed. Hardened. Are you serious right now? Yes. You both have good jobs. You're not struggling anymore. It's time. Mom, we have 2 kids, a mortgage, expenses you don't understand. I understand perfectly. And I also understand that you've been living beyond your means while I've been subsidizing your lifestyle. Subsidizing? She stood up. You offered to help. I offered to help temporarily. It's been 5 years. So this is about money? This is about respect, about being valued for more than my checkbook. Oh my God, Mom. Here we go. The Martyr Act. You chose to help us. And you chose to shut me out of your life while taking my money. She grabbed her purse. You know what? You're right. We don't need your help anymore. We're doing just fine on our own. Brandon's getting a promotion. We're financially secure. So you can keep your money. Victoria? No, Mom. I'm done. I'm done feeling guilty about accepting your help when you're just going to throw it in my face. She walked to the door, turned back. We don't need you anymore. We've got this. And she left. I sat at my table with the uneaten food and I felt relief. Because she'd finally said it. The thing I'd known for years. She didn't need me. She needed my money. And now that she'd said they didn't need it, I was going to take her at her word. The next morning, I logged into my bank account and canceled every automatic transfer. The mortgage payment, the car payments, the country club membership, the nanny salary, everything, all of it, gone. And I waited. 48 hours. That's how long it took. 48 hours after I canceled the payments, my phone started ringing. Victoria. 3 calls in a row. I didn't answer. Then texts started flooding in. Mom, call me. Mom, there's a problem with the mortgage. Mom, call me now. I turned my phone off, went to work, focused on a big commercial deal I'd been closing. When I turned my phone back on that evening, I had 17 missed calls and 32 texts, most from Victoria, some from Brandon, even one from Brandon's mother. I listened to Victoria's voicemails. The first was confused. Mom, hey, so the mortgage didn't go through. I think there's a problem with the bank transfer. Can you check? The second was anxious. Mom, seriously, I need you to call me back. The bank is saying the payment was canceled. That can't be right. The third was angry. Mom, what the hell is going on? Did you cancel our mortgage payment? Call me back now. Brandon's voicemail was even better. Patricia, this is Brandon. I don't know what's happening, but our accounts are showing insufficient funds, and apparently you canceled several automatic transfers. This is creating a serious problem for us. Please call me back so we can discuss this like adults. Like adults. I laughed. Actually laughed. I texted Victoria, you said you didn't need my help anymore. I'm respecting your independence. She called immediately. I answered. Mom, what the f***? Language, Victoria. Don't language me. You canceled everything. The mortgage, the cars, the country club dues, Harrison's preschool tuition, everything. You said you were doing just fine on your own. I believed you. You can't just, Mom, we have bills due. Real bills. The mortgage is due in 3 days. Then pay it. With what money? Your salary, Brandon's salary. The money you claimed was enough. Silence. Then, Mom, please. I was upset. I didn't mean it literally. You said, and I quote, we don't need your help anymore. We're doing just fine on our own. I was angry. Angry or not, I'm taking you at your word. You're a successful lawyer. Brandon's getting a promotion. You're financially secure. Your words. Mom, please. We can't cover all this. Not immediately. We have savings, but not enough for everything. Then prioritize. Budget. Make sacrifices. You know, like adults do. This isn't fair. What isn't fair, Victoria, is taking $8,000 a month from your mother for 5 years while barely including her in your life. More silence. That's what this is about? You feeling left out? This is about respect, about being valued for more than my bank account. I value you. Really? When was the last time you invited me to Sunday dinner? When was the last time you called just to talk? When was the last time you treated me like your mother instead of your ATM? I could hear her breathing, shaky. Mom, I'm sorry if you felt that way, but punishing us financially isn't the answer. I'm not punishing you. I'm simply stopping enabling you. Enabling? We have children, your grandchildren. Grandchildren I barely know because I'm never invited into their lives. That's not, you're always welcome. Am I? Because Brandon's mother seems to be there constantly. She's at every birthday party, every holiday, every important moment. Where's my invitation? She's local, it's easier. I'm 40 minutes away, Victoria. Mom, please, can we talk about this in person, not over the phone? Talk about what? How you'll promise to include me more if I restart the payments. I will include you more, I promise. I've been busy, but I'll make more time. I don't want promises, Victoria. I want genuine relationship, not transactional. It's not transactional. Then prove it. Build a life you can afford. Make your own way. And when you're ready to have a real relationship with me, one that isn't based on what I can provide financially, call me. Mom. I hung up. My hands were shaking. My heart was racing, but I also felt powerful, free. For the first time in 5 years, I'd set a boundary. The texts continued all night. From Victoria, please reconsider, we're family. From Brandon, this is incredibly irresponsible of you. We have children to think about. From Brandon's mother, I don't know what's going on between you and Victoria, but affecting the children is unacceptable. I blocked them all. For 3 days, silence. Then, on the 4th day, my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole. Victoria. I opened the door. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed, dark circles under her eyes. She'd been crying. "Can I come in?" she asked quietly. I stepped aside. We sat in my living room. The same room where she'd grown up, where we'd had countless movie nights and homework sessions and heart-to-heart talks. "Mom," she started, voice breaking. "I'm sorry." I said nothing. "I'm sorry for taking you for granted, for treating you like a bank, for not including you more in my life. You deserved better." Yes, I did. Brandon and I were in trouble. Real trouble. Without your help, we can't make our mortgage payment. We can't cover the car payments. We might lose everything. Then sell the townhouse. Get something smaller. Trade in the luxury cars. Cancel the country club membership you don't need. But the kids will be fine. They don't need a mansion in Pacific Heights. They need parents who live within their means and a grandmother who's part of their lives. She wiped her eyes. Brandon doesn't want to downsize. He says it's embarrassing. His family. I don't care about his family. Mom. Victoria, listen to me. Your husband's pride is not my responsibility. Your lifestyle choices are not my burden. I love you. I always will. But I won't be used anymore. I wasn't using you. I raised an eyebrow. She looked away. Okay, maybe I was, but not intentionally. It just became normal. You were always there, always helping, and I stopped thinking about what it cost you. It cost me a lot. Not just money. It cost me you. Our relationship. The grandchildren I barely know. Fresh tears. I'm sorry. I really am. I know I shut you out. Brandon's family is so overwhelming. They're always involved, and it was easier to just let them take over. Easier for who? For me, she admitted. Brandon's mom does everything. Downsize, budget, live within your actual means. Stop trying to keep up with Brandon's family. He'll never agree. Then that's a marriage problem, not a money problem. She looked stricken. We sat in silence for a long moment. What if I promised to include you more? She finally said. Weekly dinners, regular visits, FaceTime with the kids. Would you help us then, just until we get back on our feet? And there it was, the same cycle, the same pattern. Promise better behavior in exchange for money. No, I said. Mom, no, Victoria. I'm not negotiating. I'm not bargaining. This isn't about what you'll do to earn my financial support. This is about you learning to stand on your own 2 feet. But we'll lose the house. Then you'll find a different house, one you can afford. Brandon will be humiliated. Then Brandon needs to work on his priorities. She stood up. I can't believe you're doing this. Your own daughter, your grandchildren. I'm doing this because you're my daughter. Because I love you enough to stop enabling you. This isn't love. This is punishment. No, Victoria? Punishment would be cutting you out of my life completely. This is tough love. There's a difference. She grabbed her purse. Fine. We'll figure it out ourselves. We don't need you. You've said that before. This time, I mean it. She slammed the door on her way out. I sat there, wondering if I'd just destroyed my relationship with my daughter forever. But I also felt right. Like I'd finally done what I should have done years ago. 2 weeks passed. Silence. Then I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Hi, Patricia. This is Ashley, Brandon's sister. I think we need to talk. I didn't respond. She called. I let it go to voicemail. Patricia, it's Ashley. Look, I don't know the details of what's happening between you and Victoria, but Brandon's a mess. They're talking about selling the townhouse, and my parents are furious. My mother blames you for creating this situation. I'm calling because I think there's a way to resolve this that works for everyone. Please call me back. I deleted the message. A week later, Brandon's mother called. I actually answered this one. I was curious. Patricia, Diane, we need to talk about Victoria and Brandon. Do we? They're drowning financially because you've pulled your support. I pulled support they claimed they didn't need. Don't be naive. Victoria was emotional. She didn't mean it. She said it. I respected her words. You're being petty. I laughed. Petty? I gave them nearly $500,000 over 5 years. Silence. $500,000? Diane's voice was different now, shocked. You didn't know? Victoria mentioned you helped with some bills, but $8,000 a month for 5 years. You do the math. More silence. Patricia, I had no idea. Of course you didn't. Because Victoria didn't tell you. Because she was ashamed. Or maybe because she knew you'd judge her for needing help while maintaining the lifestyle you all expect. We never expected. Didn't you? The townhouse in Pacific Heights? The private preschool? The country club? That's not Brandon's salary. That's my money maintaining an image for your family. I didn't know, she said quietly. Now you do. What do you want from them? Nothing. I want them to build a life they can sustain without my constant financial support. And if they can't? Then they'll have to make different choices. Smaller house. Less expensive lifestyle. Reality. You're willing to let them lose everything? I'm willing to let them experience consequences. There's a difference. She hung up. 3 days later, Victoria called. Mom, can we talk? I'm listening. We're selling the townhouse. My heart clenched. Okay. Brandon's furious. His parents are furious. Everyone thinks you're being cruel. What do you think? Long pause. I think you're right. I wasn't expecting that. What? I think you're right. We've been living beyond our means, using your money to maintain a lifestyle we couldn't afford. And I've been so focused on fitting into Brandon's world that I forgot about you, about us. Victoria, let me finish. We're selling the house, buying something smaller, something we can actually afford on our combined salaries. And I'm setting boundaries with Brandon's family. They've been too involved, and it's hurt my relationship with you. That's really mature, honey. It's terrifying, she admitted. Brandon and I have been fighting constantly. His mother keeps calling, offering to help financially. But I'm saying no, because you're right. If we take her money, we'll just trade one dependence for another. I'm proud of you. She started crying. I'm sorry, Mom, for everything. For using you, for shutting you out, for valuing their opinions. I forgive you, sweetheart. Really? Really. But things have to change. They will. I promise. Real change, not just words. I want to believe you. Come over this weekend. Bring the kids. Let's start over. I felt hope for the first time in weeks. I'd like that. Me too, Mom. I love you. I love you too, baby. I hung up, feeling lighter. Like maybe, just maybe, we could rebuild. But I should have known better. The weekend came. I cleaned my house, bought food Harrison liked, got toys for Penelope. I was nervous, excited, hopeful. Victoria texted at noon. Running late, be there by 2. At 2:30, she still wasn't there. At 3, she texted, so sorry. Brandon's parents stopped by unexpectedly. Can we reschedule? I stared at that text for 5 minutes. Then I called her. Mom, hey, I'm so sorry. No. What? No more excuses, Victoria. You either want a relationship with me or you don't. I do. Brandon's parents just showed up and they want to talk about the house sale. Tell them you have plans. Tell them you're seeing your mother. Tell them anything, but be here. Silence. Victoria? Mom, they drove all the way here. It would be rude. And standing me up isn't rude? That's not. I'm not standing you up. I'm just asking to reschedule. For the 100th time. No, Victoria. Come now or don't come at all. Mom, you're being unreasonable. I'm being clear. Choose. More silence. Then, I can't just kick Brandon's parents out, but you can cancel on me. It's complicated. It's actually very simple. You're choosing them again. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, sweetheart. I learned that a long time ago. Call me when you're actually ready to prioritize our relationship. I hung up. She didn't call back. 2 weeks later, I saw on Instagram that they'd had a big family dinner. Brandon's entire family. Photos of everyone laughing around a table. Harrison on his grandfather's lap. Penelope in Brandon's mother's arms. I wasn't invited, wasn't mentioned, didn't exist. I called my sister, Linda, the one I'd barely spoken to in years because I'd been so consumed with work and Victoria. Linda, it's Patty. Patty? Is everything okay? Not really. Can we talk? We talked for 3 hours. I told her everything. The money, the exclusion, the broken promises. You did the right thing, Linda said. Cutting her off was the only way. Then why does it hurt so much? Because you love her. But love doesn't mean being a doormat. I just wanted to give her the life I never had. And you did, but now she's taking it for granted. Sometimes people need to lose things to appreciate them. What if she never appreciates it? What if I've lost her forever? Then you'll survive. You've survived worse. She was right. I had survived worse. But this was my daughter, my only child. A month passed, then 2. I threw myself into work, closed 3 major deals, made more money, but it felt hollow. Then, one morning, Victoria showed up at my office. My assistant buzzed. Miss Morgan, your daughter is here. I hadn't seen her in almost 3 months. Send her in. Victoria walked in looking exhausted, thinner, stressed. Mom. Victoria. We stared at each other. We sold the townhouse, she said. I saw the listing. We moved into a rental, 3-bedroom in Daly City. It's smaller, less fancy, but it's ours. We can afford it. That's good. Brandon hates it. His parents are horrified. They keep offering to help, to buy us something better, but I keep saying no. Why? Because you were right. If we take their money, we're just trading one problem for another. We need to do this ourselves. I nodded. But Mom, it's hard, so hard. Brandon's resentful. He blames me for refusing his parents' help. He says I'm being stubborn and prideful. Are you? Maybe. But I'm also trying to save our marriage. Because if we take his parents' money, they'll control us even more than they already do. That's wise. She sat down uninvited. I need to tell you something. Okay. Brandon and I are in counseling. Good. The counselor asked about our families, about support systems, and I realized I don't have one. I have Brandon's family who suffocate me, and I have you who I've pushed away. You did push me away. I know. Tears filled her eyes. I chose wrong, over and over, and I don't know how to fix it. Do you want to fix it? Yes. God, yes. But I don't know if you'll let me. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. She was 34 years old, 2 kids, struggling marriage, finally facing reality. What do you want from me, Victoria? A chance. A real chance. Not based on money, not transactional, just a relationship. Like we used to have. Used to have when? When I was young, when it was just us. When you were my whole world and I was yours. My throat tightened. That was a long time ago. I know. But maybe we can build something new. Something real. What about Brandon's family? I'm setting boundaries. Real boundaries. His mother doesn't come over unannounced anymore. We don't spend every holiday with them. I'm making space for you. Victoria, I don't want space given to me out of obligation. It's not obligation. It's choice. I'm choosing you. Finally. I know I'm late. Years late. But I'm choosing you. I wanted to believe her. Wanted to fall back into the easy pattern of forgiving and helping and sacrificing. But I'd learned. Prove it, I said. What? Prove it. Words are easy. Show me through actions. How? Include me. Not once a month for a guilt-driven lunch. Actually include me. Weekly dinners. FaceTime calls with the kids. Being present in my life the way Brandon's mother is present in yours. Okay, yes, I can do that. And Victoria, no more asking for money. Not for emergencies, not for help, nothing. We rebuild this relationship on equal footing or not at all. She flinched. What if we really need help? Then you figure it out like every other adult. Borrow from a bank. Ask Brandon's parents. But not me, not anymore. That's harsh. That's reality. I won't be your backup plan, your safety net, your ATM. I'll be your mother, but only if you'll be my daughter. She wiped her tears. Okay, deal. Don't agree unless you mean it. I mean it, Mom. I swear. We stared at each other across my desk. Then she stood. Can I hug you? I stint too. Yeah, you can hug me. She came around the desk and wrapped her arms around me. She smelled like baby shampoo and stress and desperation. I hugged her back. I'm sorry, she whispered. For everything. I know, baby, I know. We stood there, holding each other, and I felt something shift. Not fixed, not healed, but starting to mend. Come to dinner Sunday, I said. Bring the kids. Bring Brandon if he'll come. He probably won't. Then come without him. Okay, what time? 5. And Victoria, don't cancel. I won't, I promise. She left. I sat back down at my desk and cried. Big, messy, relieved tears. Sunday came. I cooked all afternoon. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, green beans. Victoria's favorites from childhood. At 4:45, I started to worry she wouldn't show. At 5:03, my doorbell rang. Victoria stood there with both kids. No Brandon. He had work, she said. But we're here. Harrison ran past me into the house. Grandma, do you have toys? Grandma. He called me Grandma. I do, sweetheart, in the living room. He took off running. Victoria handed me Penelope. She just ate, should be good for a while. I took my granddaughter. Really held her for the first time. She looked up at me with big blue eyes and smiled. My heart cracked open. Hi, Penelope, I whispered. I'm your grandma. She grabbed my finger. We went inside. Had dinner. Harrison told me about preschool. Victoria actually talked to me. Really talked about her life, her struggles, her fears. It wasn't perfect. There were awkward pauses. Years of distance didn't disappear in one meal. But it was real. It was honest. It was a start. When they left, Victoria hugged me tight. Thank you, she said. For what? For not giving up on me. I'm your mother. I'll never give up on you. But I also won't enable you anymore. I understand. And I'm grateful. For the boundary, for the tough love, for everything. They drove away. I watched their taillights disappear and felt hope. Real hope.
That was 3 months ago. Since then, Victoria and I have had dinner every Sunday.
Sometimes Brandon comes. Mostly he doesn't. He's still resentful, still angry with me for cutting them off, still humiliated about the downsize. But Victoria keeps showing up. She brings the kids. We cook together. We talk. We're rebuilding. Last week, Harrison drew me a picture at preschool. It was our family. Him, Penelope, Victoria, Brandon, and me. I was labeled Grandma in his wobbly handwriting. I cried when she showed me. He talks about you all the time, Victoria said. Grandma's house, Grandma's cooking, Grandma's stories. Really? Really. You're becoming part of his world. Finally. The relationship with Brandon is still strained. He's polite but cold. He blames me for their financial struggles, for the smaller house, for his embarrassment in front of his family. He'll come around, Victoria says, or he won't. But I'm not letting his bitterness control my choices anymore. That's growth. Real growth. Victoria's also started therapy. Individual therapy, not just couples. I'm unpacking a lot, she told me last week, about why I was so desperate to fit into Brandon's world, about my own insecurities, about how I treated you. What are you learning? That I was trying to prove something, that I was worthy, that I deserved to be in their world. And in trying to prove it to them, I neglected the one person who always believed I was worthy. You. You were always worthy, Victoria. I know that now. But I didn't then. I thought their approval meant more because it was harder to earn. And now? Now I know their approval doesn't matter. Not compared to yours. We're not perfect. We still have hard conversations. She still sometimes makes choices I don't agree with. But she shows up. She's present. She's trying. And that's all I ever wanted. Last month, she asked if I wanted to take Harrison to the park. Just the two of us. We spent 3 hours there, playing on the swings, building sandcastles, eating ice cream. Grandma, do you have any kids? Harrison asked. I do. I have your mommy. Was she little like me? She was. And she was just as wonderful as you are. Did you play with her? Every single day. It was the best time of my life. He smiled. I like playing with you too, Grandma. I hugged him tight and thought, this is what I almost lost. This is what matters. Not the money, not the lifestyle, not the impressive addresses and expensive memberships. This. Connection. Love. Family. 2 weeks ago, Victoria did something that shocked me. She invited probably. His mother still doesn't like you. His father thinks you're controlling. But I don't care what they think. You're Harrison's grandmother. You belong there. I went. It was awkward. Brandon's mother barely spoke to me. His father made passive-aggressive comments about family drama. But Harrison ran to me when I arrived. Grandma, you came! Of course I came, sweetheart. Happy birthday. I brought him a present. Not expensive. A set of books. Stories about adventure and courage and kindness. He loved them. Will you read them to me? He asked. Every single one. We sat on the couch, away from everyone else, and I read him the first book, while the party happened around us. Victoria caught my eye from across the room. She mouthed, "Thank you." I mouthed back, "I love you." She smiled, a real smile. Not forced, not guilty, just happy. When I left, Brandon walked me to my car. "Patricia," he said, "can we talk?" "Of course. I owe you an apology." I wasn't expecting that. Victoria told me about the money, about how much you gave us over the years. I didn't know the full amount. I knew you helped, but not like that. She didn't want you to know. I understand why. I would have been humiliated. He looked down. I am humiliated. We were living a lie, pretending we could afford things we couldn't, and you were enabling it. I was. Why? Because she's my daughter, and I wanted her to have everything. Even if it hurt her? Even then. I didn't see it as hurting her. I saw it as helping. He nodded. Victoria says you're the reason she's finally standing on her own, that cutting us off was the best thing you could have done. Do you agree? He thought about it. Yes, I hate it. I hate the smaller house and the tighter budget and explaining to my family why we don't need their money. But Victoria's different now. Stronger, more independent, more herself. She always was strong, but she'd forgotten, and I'd forgotten too. I married her because she was brilliant and driven and fierce, but somewhere along the way, she became small, trying to fit into my family's mold. Your boundary gave her permission to be big again. That's a generous interpretation. It's the truth. He extended his hand. Thank you, and I'm sorry for the things I said, the names I called you, the resentment. I shook his hand. Apology accepted. Can we start over? I'd like that. He smiled. Good, because Victoria's not going to stop including you in our lives, and I'd rather we be friendly than hostile. Agreed. I drove home that night feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Real, genuine peace. My phone rang as I pulled into my driveway. Victoria. Hey, Mom. Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for coming today. It meant everything to Harrison, to me. I wouldn't have missed it. Mom, I need to tell you something. My stomach clenched. What? I love you, and I'm sorry it took me so long to show it. Tears filled my eyes. I love you too, baby, so much. I know. I've always known. Even when I was being awful, I knew. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving I deserve it. You don't have to prove anything. Yes, I do, but not with words, with actions, with showing up, with being present, with being the daughter you deserved all along. You're here now. That's all that matters. We talked for another hour, about nothing and everything, like we used to when she was young, and I was her whole world. Real, genuine peace. My phone rang as I pulled into my driveway. Victoria. Hey, Mom. Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for coming today. It meant everything to Harrison, to me. I wouldn't have missed it. Mom, I need to tell you something. My stomach clenched. What? I love you, and I'm sorry it took me so long to show it. Tears filled my eyes. I love you too, baby. So much. I know. I've always known. Even when I was being awful, I knew. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving I deserve it. You don't have to prove anything. Yes, I do, but not with words. With actions. With showing up. With being present. With being the daughter you deserved all along. You're here now. That's all that matters. We talked for another hour, about nothing and everything, like we used to when she was young and I was her whole world. When we hung up, I sat in my car and cried, happy tears this time, because I'd done the impossible. I'd set a boundary with the person I loved most in the world, and instead of losing her, I'd found her again. Not the version of her that needed my money. Not the version that fit into someone else's world. The real Victoria. The one I'd raised. The one I'd always known was in there. I'm 63 years old. I've built a fortune. I've achieved success beyond my wildest dreams. But the greatest thing I've ever done? I let go. I let go of the need to fix everything, to provide everything, to be everything. And in letting go, I got back what mattered most. My daughter, my family, myself.
Was it worth $480,000? Worth the pain? Worth the months of silence?
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Because some lessons can only be learned the hard way. Some relationships can only be saved by almost losing them. Victoria and I still have work to do. Years of patterns to unlearn. Boundaries to maintain. But we're doing it together now. As equals. As mother and daughter. Not as benefactor and dependent. And that's worth more than any amount of money I could ever give. So here's what I want to know. What would you have done? Would you have kept paying, hoping things would change? Would you have cut them off sooner? Or would you have done exactly what I did? Drop your answer in the comments below. Tell me your story. Because sometimes the hardest choices we make are the ones that save us.